Alright, good morning, 5B. This is Science HBL for 8 April. We will be finishing up cells before we move on to electrical systems. So we'll be going through the SIN as well as the worksheet these few days before we move on to the new topic. Right, so for the unit of life, the SIN, we have actually finished up to page 5. You are supposed to have done it during the holidays where we assign you the cells lesson. You might still be able to see it on SLS if you have not done so. So if you haven't done so, please go and finish up the cells lesson on SLS. It might be under assigned or it might be under incomplete for you. Or some of you who have finished already, you can recap, you can revisit it by going to your completed column and look for the sales lesson package that was assigned during the March holidays. So I'll try to keep the video short, maximum 15 minutes, so that it's easier to digest the information that I've said so far. So let's go on. Okay, so you will need your unit of life SIN, and as I explained to you, please also write down the answers together with me. So let's go to page 6. That's where we stopped at. Alright, so this is an animal cell. Okay, how do I know it's an animal cell? Because if you look at the shape of the animal cell, it is actually irregular or circular in shape. The shape can change because, as we know, animal cell has no cell wall. Okay, so the key here is that they're telling you that an animal and a plant cell have common parts. So both cells share similar parts, but they are not exactly the same. So there are parts that are present in a plant cell but not present in an animal cell. So as I highlight, please highlight yourself also on the paper that you have. Okay, so let's go to the functions of each of the plant parts, each of the cell parts and function. Let's start from the cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance where something takes place. Okay, where activities takes place. Okay, for the plants is doing for the cells is actually doing activities within itself. What kind of activities? It can be like respiration, making energy from oxygen. Sometimes it can be photosynthesis, where the plant is making food. Sometimes it is actually undergoing cell division. So there are a lot of activities that you haven't learned about, but is happening within the cell in the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is actually basically the fluid that is trapped within the cell, whether it's an animal cell or a plant cell, and all the activities are happening within the cytoplasm. So is this purplish fluid here, is this yellowish fluid here. So that's the cytoplasm. So inside there's a lot of things happening. So it's like a marketplace. This is where the activities happen. Now we talk about cell membrane. Okay, I might not be able to write inside the box because there's quite a bit to write. So instead, I'm gonna just draw an arrow out like this, and I'm gonna write it over here. Okay, so it's easier to see. Okay, so I'll just complete the sentence. It allows. Okay, there's a bit of writing to do here. Only certain substances to pass through, to enter or exit the cell. Okay, simple. Alright, so the key thing about, okay, let's just make it bigger so you can see, to enter. Alright, something like that. Alright, okay. So what's the function of cell membrane is that it allows certain substances, only certain substances, to either enter or exit the cell. Okay, it's like a gateway. So the cell membrane is like a gateway. It controls things that enters the cell. It controls things that exit the cell. It's not like an open hole where anything can go in, anything can come out. It's like a gatekeeper. It allows certain things to come in, allows certain things to go out. Things that it doesn't want, it allows it to go out. Things that it wants, like food, like water, like air, it allows it to enter the cell. So it's like a gatekeeper in a certain sense. So that's the function of the cell membrane. So similarly, I will draw a line over here for nucleus because I'm unable to write everything down in the box given. I'm going to write here. What does the nucleus do? The nucleus actually, number one, in the first blank, is to Okay, maybe I'll just write everything down. The nucleus controls all the activities. Okay, so cytoplasm is the marketplace where it happens, but however, the nucleus controls all the activities happening in the cell. Okay, so the first part is this. Okay, so what happens that the nucleus, as I said before, is like the brain. It controls everything that is happening in the cell. Okay, so the difference between cytoplasm and nucleus is that nucleus is the brain. It controls the activities happening in the cell, while the cytoplasm is the place where activities are taking place. So one is the marketplace, one is the brain in a sense. Okay, so what does it do? Let's draw a line down. So it controls. So what this is, so the function of nucleus is to control the activities, but what is inside the nucleus? Let's write down. It contains important genetic information that can be passed down to the next generation when it reproduces, of course. Let me just make it bigger so you can see everything. Okay, something like that. Right, don't worry if if it's too fast for you. That's the beauty of online learning. You can pause the video, you can rewind, and then you can copy down. So don't worry if I'm too fast for you. You can always repeat again and again. Okay, so the nucleus controls all the activities, and besides that, it also contains important genetic information. For example, whether your hair is black, whether your skin is dark or your skin is fair, or your eyes are blue or eyes are brown. These are genetic information we're talking about. So the nucleus contains all the important genetic information that can be passed down from one generation to the next when it reproduces. Okay, so that is what the nucleus is for. So for cytoplasm, cell membrane, and nucleus, it will be in all cells. All cells will have cytoplasm, cell membrane, and nucleus. Of course, there'll be one or two weird ones like the red blood cell that doesn't contain nucleus, but let's don't talk about that. Most cells do contain cytoplasm, cell membrane, and nucleus. Now we go on to those that are specific to a plant cell. So a plant cell has a cell wall. We all know that it is the outer layer here, which I'm going to highlight for you. I'm going to highlight in green. Okay, this is the cell wall. This whole part is the cell wall. Okay, so it is found outside the cell membrane, correct? And what does it do? I'll write over here. Okay, it supports the cell and maintain its shape. That's why it has a regular shape. Right, so let's connect these two together. Okay, so what happens that the cell wall is outside cell membrane, of course. It supports the cell and it maintains its shape. That's why a plant cell always has a regular shape. And on the last one, cytoplasm, not cytoplasm, the last one, chloroplast. Chloroplasts are the green substance you see. These substances is green because they contain chlorophyll. And we have learned what's chlorophyll for. Chlorophyll is the substance that traps sunlight. So like what I said before in class, chloroplast is the structure that contains chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a substance that traps sunlight to make food for the plant. Okay, so do know the difference between chloroplast and chlorophyll. Okay, so once again, if you are not done copying, don't worry, pause the video, rewind back, and then you can pause while copying. It is fine. So this is for page 6. Now let's go on to page 7. Right, so let's say I have a cell and I don't know whether is it plant or animal cell. How am I going to tell the difference? So let's answer the question. Let's highlight important parts. State the parts where the animal and plant cell have in common. What does it mean by common? Common means the same. They have the same parts. Okay, so if you don't know what is common, common means the same. Remember I said I want you to highlight, I want you to write notes. Okay, so which part of a cell do animal and cell and plant cell have in common? We start from the center of the cell. Both cells have a nucleus. Do both cells have cytoplasm? Yes, they have. Let's move out. Do you have a nucleus? I know plant cell have, but animal cell no. So I'm not gonna write chloroplast. Okay, let's rewind back again. So let's start from the center of the cell. Both cells have nucleus. Yep. Both cells have cytoplasm. Yep. Both cells have chloroplast. No. Animal don't have chloroplast. Plants have chloroplast. Then we go away. Now let's talk about cell membrane. Yep. Both cells have cell membranes that control who goes in and what goes in and what goes out of the cell. And then lastly, do both cells have cell wall? No. Only plant cells have cell wall. So the only three parts are nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. So how can someone confirm that the cell is a animal cell or a plant cell? What can you look out for to differentiate between an animal and plant? Is it an animal or plant cell? Alright, so two things you can look for. Okay, number one, you can look for the presence of chloroplasts. Okay, so you look out for the presence of chloroplasts. Something else you can do, you can also look out for the presence of cell wall. Okay, and I'll explain later. Right, so how to differentiate between an animal and a plant cell is that you can do two things. One is to look out for the presence of chloroplasts to see whether are there chloroplasts in the cell or not, or look out for the presence of cell wall, because we know that both of these things, let me just draw, because we know both of this, okay, wrong one, because we know both chloroplast and cell wall belongs to plant cell. Okay, so how do we differentiate between animal and plant cell is that we look out for the presence of chloroplast, look out for the presence of cell wall. If it has chloroplast, it means that it's a plant cell. If it has a cell wall, it means that it's plant cell, because only plant cells have chloroplast and cell wall. I mean, not all plant cells have chloroplast, but with a chloroplast, it probably means that it is a plant cell also. But definitely with a cell wall, it's a plant cell for sure. So if the cell is a plant cell, how do you know it's from the leaf? Let's highlight the leaf or the root. You must understand first what is the difference between these two. What is the difference? What's the difference between a cell that is in the leaf and the cell that's in the roots? What is the difference? Okay, if you think about it, you realize that leaves make food, so they must have chloroplast or chlorophyll in a sense. But we talk about structure, so we talk about chloroplast. Okay, but there won't be chloroplast in the roots. Okay, there won't be chloroplast in root cells because they don't make food. Okay, so when you look at this question, you need to think about the difference between leaf and the roots. Okay, leaf wise would have leaf make food, so they will have chloroplast, but root cells don't make food, so there won't be chloroplast. So if there is no chloroplast, so maybe we just write down over here. If so, this is the answer. If there is chloroplast in the cell, It is from the leaves. Right, and if there's no chloroplast, it might be from the roots. Right. So quite simple here. We know the function of leaves to make food, so leaf cell must have chloroplast. However, if it's not a leaf cell, there won't be any chloroplast inside because there's no need for them to have chloroplast because it's not making food. So only leaf cells have chloroplast. If it's not a leaf cell, you will not see chloroplast. But what you will see in common is that there will still be cell wall because both are plant cells. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Remember, you can always rewind back to check out the answers. Right, so let's look at page 8. This is the last page of the SIN. This is just a summary. I'm sure this is quite simple. So let's write down everything that we know. A cell is the smallest unit of life. It's on the left side. So this is what we want. It's the smallest unit of life. Okay, this is the building block of life basically. Okay, smallest unit of life. Okay, there are two types of cells we have learned. The one in the center is an animal cell, and the one on the right is the plant cell. As you can see, plant cell has more parts that are unique. Okay, so this is an animal cell, it's a plant cell, and which are the parts that we have learned so far? Let's start from within the cell, the center of the cell, the nucleus, followed by the cytoplasm, followed by the cell membrane. And you realize that plant cell and animal cell share this similarity. They have nucleus, they have cytoplasm, they have cell membrane. So what is unique about plant cell is that they have chloroplasts. Only plant cell have chloroplasts, and only certain parts of the plant cell have chloroplasts. And the last part is your cell wall. Cell wall. Alright, so this is just a summary of all the main things about the topic. Cell, smallest unit of life. There are two types of cell, animal and plant cell, which they share common parts like the nucleus, like the cytoplasm, like the cell membrane, while only plant cell have chloroplast for the leaves to make food by absorbing sunlight, and cell wall, which gives the plant cell a regular shape. Alright, so your homework for today is to try on Classkick for your cell topical worksheet. I know that was your homework I think last week, but I want you to do it on Classkick. Don't just show me the answer. Tell me what you highlight. Tell me the thinking. Use the pen mode, the highlighter mode, the drawing mode, the text mode. Try it out so you are more familiar as the days goes past. So I want you to try from question 1 all the way to question 6. Okay, question 7 there's a problem, so you don't see question 7 at all. So just stop at question 6 will do, and I'll go through with you the answers tomorrow. See you on Thursday.